Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim and today I'm going to be the mid-year freakout tag. So I was tagged by Bookzara, so thank you for the tag. I'll link her channel down below. Check it out, it's great, I love her. And also I did it last year, so why not continue the tradition? So I have not done a lot of videos lately, but I have been reading, so hopefully that gives me a few of the answers to the questions. I had some trouble finding answers, to be honest, compared to last year. I think my reading year so far has been a bit less lackluster. For some reason, I think it's probably because I'm not reading as much Guy Gavriel Kay, but that's another story. But I did find a few. So the first question is best book so far this year. And definitely, surprisingly for me, it's a nonfiction, and it is Come Tell Me How You Live by Agatha Christie Malone. So it's Agatha Christie's memoir or diary of her digs that she went to with her husband, who was an archaeologist in like the 30s, and like at the beginning sort of this career, like it wasn't very fresh, like not very well trodden. And her husband is lovely, she's great, they have a very distinct view, like they're in the Iraq, Syria, that area, and they have a definitely a distinct view of those parts. Like the people there are totally different than what they are today, kind of sadly in a way, because they looked so happy and innocent, but she definitely has like her 1930s view of the thing, and it's just before the Second World War, and it definitely has a very like it's more than 100 years ago. It was great. Like she's just so personable. You get to know her in this book. There's a lot of anecdotes. She's self-deprecating. She laughs at herself and at everyone around her. So I kind of feel like I would have liked to be her friend, and it makes you really like the author. Like she's a myth, she's a legend, and it makes you feel like she's kind of an actual person. And I do want to look at the amount of tabs, but I do want to review this, and I will be reading her husband's memoir. So I think I'll do both at the same time, because they are such a nice couple. So her second husband was a keeper. Best book I've read so far. Best sequel so far, second question. I would say definitely Foundation's Edge. That hit the spot when I was reading it. I was craving some classic science fiction, and I got it. It's the sequel to the trilogy, the Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov. I loved the trilogy. I did a review. I'll link that down below. And definitely, this is less good in a way than the original trilogy. It's like a bit tricky to say like, oh, it's not on par, but I still enjoyed it tremendously. I think it came at the right time in my life, and I just love that kind of thing. So definitely, if you've read if you are planning to read the Foundation trilogy, you don't need to read the sequels or the prequels, but like if you're like me and you really love the trilogy, you're gonna have to do it. So third question, new release I haven't read yet. Okay, so if we're talking in 2026, there's not that many that I am interested in. Definitely have a thing for The Poet Empress. Everyone's talking about it in the fantasy channels, and definitely it seems to be a winner and a standalone, which is great. So I have a bit of FOMO about that one, because I'm on a book buy-in ban, so I'm not buying it anytime soon. So hopefully like the interest doesn't die down before I can get to it. Another book that was published in 2025, so to me that's fairly recent. Like I don't read that many new releases anyways. I would like to read this, The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. It's a epistolary novel. I think it's a bit of a literary fiction reminiscence, which is not in my type of reads usual, but my mom brought it to me, and I saw this book as well on an oasis of books. So I'll link her channel down below. She did talk about that one, and I think she enjoyed it. So it did give me a nice little boost that I wanted to read it, and I also do like epistolary novels. So it is on my radar, and I love the sweet little robins on the cover. I love them. I don't really know that much more about it. So then my number 4, my most anticipated release of the next, like this half of the second half of the year, I think I will have to say the sequel to the book I've just read, Hair by Saba Tahir. So this is a sequel to An Ember in the Ashes quartet that I read a few years ago and I really enjoyed. And when I was reading this, it's set 20 years after the quartet. It's set in a fantasy world that has like Roman inspired society with also like tribal people and different types of trodden upon people. But yeah, it's definitely YA, I would say. And I think I haven't read a lot of YA, but I think that's one of the better ones because I still enjoyed it, and it can get quite dark and disturbing. Some of the characters are really awful. But yeah, I really enjoyed this first book in a duology, and the next book I think comes out in September, I want to say. So called Empire, and I got attached to the characters in this one. So yeah, it's a winner. I really want to read the sequel. Then number 5, biggest disappointment this year. Well, in order to be disappointed, you have to have had high expectations, because I did read a few books I was kind of not into, but I didn't have that many expectations of them. So I would say the one that qualifies would be The House of Fortune by Jessie Burton. I read, it's the second book in a duology. The first book is The Miniaturist, and I really enjoyed the first book. It's really special. It's set in 17th century Amsterdam, like in the merchant nobility. And it has like a creepy dollhouse, very gloomy, mystery-ridden world. The characters are quite interesting and strong, but in this one, it's set like 18 years after the first book. I think it's a case of the book that did not need to be written, in my opinion. I think The Miniatures was so successful. Probably the editors said to the girl, Jessie Burton, you need to write a sequel because it was really successful. It's going to make money. And I'm sure it did because I bought it. But it was very bland and uninteresting, predictable. The characters that I'd come to kind of love in the first book were just not the same in this book. It was a lot of navel gazing, and the main character, who is 18 in this book, is terrible and unlikable. So I just didn't think it was necessary to write that book, and I was disappointed. Then number 6, biggest surprise of the year so far. I would have to say, like, if you're surprised, it means you didn't have that much high expectations when you got into it. And definitely I would say this is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, because I did enjoy A Song of Ice and Fire, the 5 books. But I enjoy them to a certain degree because they're quite dark, and it's not my type of books usually. But they are so well written, of course, and the characters and the lore and the world building is amazing. But this one crept up on me. Like, I'm a completionist, so I wanted to read it. And I really loved this. The characters are just lovely. I did a review, so I'll link that down below. And it's a much lighter read than The Song of Ice and Fire. And I did really enjoy the TV series as well. I think if you are more into like a bit more of a classic fantasy, you would enjoy that. Then number 7, a favorite new to me author. So either a new author or a new to me author. I haven't read that many new authors this year. It's like I've been continuing my series. I want to finish a lot of series this year so I can start clean in 2027. But of the few authors I've read, the one that stuck out was definitely Fonda Lee. I read a novella, Untethered Sky, and I definitely think that she did a lot with a few pages. The world is amazing, like it's set in a fantasy world that's similar to our, I would say, medieval world, like in the Middle Eastern setting. And the main character is a girl whose family was all killed by manticore, and the only way to kill manticores is with rocks, these giant birds from mythology. And she volunteers to start training the rocks. They're very dangerous, obviously, so you have to tread carefully. It's a whole, like it becomes her whole life, the training and the people around, and the rock, who is kind of tamed but never tamed really. Like they always remain wild. They just kind of choose to obey. And it's just impressive to me that in so few pages she managed to make, like I got attached to several of the characters. I wanted to know more about the world, and it got a resolution. Like the story was actually really gripping, and the ending was great. So I dare say I would love for Fonda Lee to write more in this world. I would totally read it. Otherwise, yeah, it's the first book I've read from Fonda Lee, and I think I'm gonna move on to another from her, probably one of her sci-fi, because her other fantasy trilogy is kind of urban fantasy, and it's not entirely my thing. So I'm probably gonna start with EXO, like her earlier series, or maybe The Last Contract of Isiko, which is her last release. Then number 8, newest fictional crush. Okay. This is Ryland Grace from Project Hail Mary. I did not read this year. I read it last year, so technically does not qualify as a crush from this year, but I did watch the movie. So I would say my newest fictional crush is probably Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace in Project Hail Mary. I think the movie is amazing. I loved it. I went to see it with my stepfather, who is in his 70s, and my son, who is 11, and we all three of us loved it. So it's an intergenerational thing. I did enjoy the book. I mean, it was good, but I enjoyed the movie more, I think, because it fleshed out a few of the things that I did not like in the book, like the Eva Stratt character in the book is kind of obnoxious. All the Earth scenes in the book I was not enjoying, and in the movie they're great. And I think that the Ryland Grace character is very nice in this book, but Ryan Gosling brought him to life. And I was not even a great fan of Ryan Gosling, but now I am. So yeah, he's great. So newest favorite character. Okay, it's not a crush, it's my newest favorite character. So it would be Dunk from A Knight of the Seven Kingdom, who is a hedge knight, not very experienced and quite young and a bit simple. He's not that clever, but he has a great heart, and he's just willing to defend the innocent, which is the whole point of being a knight. So I tend to have a soft spot for these types of characters, because I think last year my favorite was Grimm from Blackthorn and Grimm by Juliette Marillier, and they're kind of similar, so I think I have a type. Definitely. So number 10, book that made me cry. Okay, so I finally finished Wind and Truth, which I started in December 2024. But at the time I started it, I was in a big reading slump, and I had a lot on my plate, and it's freaking huge and heavy. Like, it's lethal. I think it fell on my face once when in bed, and it was painful. And it's difficult to carry it around, and I refuse to buy 2-3 copies of the same book in different medium. I mean, I got the hardcover and I should have waited for the paperback. My bad. So definitely, I would say it's not as good as the first 3 books. The first 3 books, it's a 5-book series. The first 3 books are amazing. Fourth book I enjoyed. This one I still enjoyed. It's just not as good. It has the middle book syndrome for me. Because it's a planned 10-book series and this is the 5th book, it's definitely a middle book. I was not expecting it to not wrap up tightly. So for me, there's still things to be answered in further books. And the fate of some of the characters are in balance. And I'm like, okay, but when are you going to write it? Because we know it's going to take a long time. So overall, I enjoyed it, but I have some reserves, but I did cry. It did make me cry a few times because I got attached to those characters, and some of them are going through the ringer, so I absolutely did shed a few tears. And yeah, it was worth it. Like, I mean, this series is still worth it, I think. I think people who started reading this when it got first published are super disappointed in that book, and I get it because it's decades ago. I myself have read most of them in 2024, so this was not like, had no huge weight or expectations, so I was okay with it. But I would like him to write the rest of the series sooner rather than later. Yeah. So number 11, book that made me happy. I will have to say Murder at the Vicarage. That's the first book in the Miss Marple series I read this year in January. And I'm reading the whole series this year. And it made me happy because I had been reading Miss Agatha Christie when I was not even an adult. Like, I was a teenager. And it brought me back to those days. And it's just so good. I mean, she's just great. So yeah, it made me happy. It's like a comfortable blanket. It's wonderful. Then the most beautiful books I got this year, since I said I'm on a book buying ban, because for reasons, I had not bought that many books. So the sweetest ones I got are from Tolkien, who is my favorite. So it's the books that are not part of Lord of the Rings. It's other works from him, and it's just like this little slipcase is just so darling. Look at that, so pretty. And then the books are tiny and cute. Try to get them out. So I have like Smith of Wootton Major, look at that, so nice. And I love it. I think it's illustrated by Pauline Baynes, who I don't know, but she did a good job. It looks like something that Tolkien would have drawn. So yeah, definitely. And they're tiny, so cute. Yeah. Then I have Roverandom. I think that one is Tolkien. It does look like a Tolkien illustration. I mean, the man was so talented. Come on. He could draw as well. It's almost overkill. Yeah. And then Farmer Giles of Ham, the nice dragon. And finally, The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, which I've read all of these before, again, ages ago, in the 90s. But they were in French, and I wanted the original version. So yeah, Tom Bombadil. This is poems, but they are very nice, sweet, simple poems about Tom Bombadil and his adventures. And if you enjoy Tom Bombadil from Fellowship of the Ring, then definitely get that. I mean, it's amazing. And yeah, it talks about him step over the moon, and uh, gemstones, and he's just a darling boy. So yeah, those are so pretty, so sweet, tiny, but they open very nicely. And then they're woven, which is a plus, because you don't always get the woven. Are they woven? Not sure. Maybe not. No, they're glued, but they look like they're woven. But yeah, for the price I got them, I mean, it's a great buy, and I am collecting Tolkien, so it was worth it. And finally, the books that I need to read before the end of the year. So I am doing the Istarathon, although I am doing one book per quarter, and I'm not on the Discord. I have no time for this, unfortunately. I would love to, but I just can't manage it. So I have to read Elizabeth by David Starkey for quarter 3, and a biography of Agatha Christie by Lucy Worsley in quarter 4. I'm doing a lot of Christie content. And then I would also like to get to Isles of the Ember Dark by Brandon Sanderson, because I finished the Cosmere, so this is the only Cosmere book I have yet to read, and it is set in the same world as one of his short stories. It's Six of the Dusk, which I enjoyed tremendously, so I do want to visit that world again. And also all my Miss Marple, the remaining ones, the 6 remaining ones. So I'm not gonna tag anyone, because I think this tag is pretty much, open for everyone. So if you want to do it, just do it and let me know. So I'll see you next time.